Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Cup of Joe with Joe and Joe podcast. I'm your host Joe, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Joe.
March of the Zombies. Oh, we're getting into some interesting territory in Bleach, Joe. Very interesting territory.
So you got the Quincy's, we got the Soul Reapers, we got the humans, we got the Hollows, and now we have Zambonis. Joe, as a fan of the Call of Duty Zombies game mode, I am very happy with this. However, there was no Juggernog in sight, therefore I'm going to have to give this a 1 out of 10 for the adaptation.
I understand. Yeah, Joe, I gotta be honest. This episode, it's not bad, but I think this is the weakest out of Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War.
Interesting, because I have a note here, and it might be because this is the weaker one, but this is kind of like... It's a little dramatic sounding, but I'm at a breaking point right now with Bleach where I feel like there needs to be a stronger center through line right now, because the last 7-8 episodes, it's just been, hey, here's a cool fight with these characters. Hey, here's a cool fight with these characters. Oh, hey, here's a cool fight with these characters. And I'm like, I appreciate all this. It all looks great. Every individual fight, really solid. I'm enjoying those. But I do kind of want to just stick to a core group of characters now and kind of stay with them for a little bit. I want to see some more strong, long-term development with some of these people, specifically like our main trio, who we get in the beginning of this episode. You got Ichigo, you got Chad, you got Orihime, and I like the way they all interact with each other, because of how, like, last episode, Ichigo was all like, he had a brighter disposition about him. And then he sees Uryu going up in the big space laser, and he's like, no! And then everything's like real sad and dour for a minute in this episode. But then Orihime, God bless her soul, was just like, hey, he's up there, but he probably has a good reason. Chad even says something along those lines, and then Ichigo is kind of like sitting there in the dumps, and he's like, he's gotta have a good reason. And if it's not good enough, I'm gonna smack him and bring him back here. And they're like, and what if it is a good enough reason? He's like, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna smack him and bring him back here. And they're like, yep, this is fine. And then Urahara shows up and he's like, cool, we're gonna shoot you into space now with a big old cannon. They're like, ah, sweet. You see a little bit more with that, and then it's just kind of bounced around a bunch of other people. And I enjoy everyone else. I do. I enjoy a lot of what happens in this episode. But still, I'm like, I want to focus up a little bit.
We will get to the point where it's kind of like, all right, we're narrowing focus, as you said, on the main trio or big characters that we need to focus on. But yeah, right now we're still in that phase of having these lots of battles for the side characters, which again look great. It's just we want to see our main boy in action, and it's a little frustrating to have the main boy come down and then be like, actually, you got to go back up.
Also, Shunsui says something about how someone might have a plan for something, and he says a new name. I didn't write it down because I'm a fool, but it's a name that I didn't recognize. I don't think it was one of the Squad Zero people. Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Know what you're talking about. I did not recognize the name.
Interesting, because he's like, I wonder if this is part of your plan. Insert name here. And I'm like, I don't know who that is, but again, last episode we got Paintbrush Man, creepy stare. He's planning something, so I don't know what's going on there, but I am eagerly awaiting to see what's happening, because I kind of want, like, we've been in this Seirei for a while now. All this destruction going on, the red sky, the ice blue buildings. I want to see what's going on in the Soul Palace. I want to see what they're doing up there. I want to just focus up there and be like, okay, we got the battle down here. Now we got the big battle up here with all the people that you've been invested in for like a decade.
I'm thinking this core is going to end with the transition into Soul Palace kind of focus. I don't think we'll get there in this core. I think we'll finish off with the Seirei, and then next core is probably going to be dedicated to the whole Soul Palace interaction.
Looking forward to that. But back to what's going on in this episode. As I mentioned, we see Urahara. He's getting them into the cannon. He's going to shoot them off into space. And finally, for the first time in all of 1,000-Year Blood War, we see Yoroichi.
A girl.
Very, very happy about that. She was collecting jars of energy, and it ties back to what Urahara was saying to Hiyori, getting her to, like, close rifts or something like that.
Yeah, I like that little callback to it. Again, the physics behind everything goes out the window. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy that, whatever.
Yeah, I try not to think about it too hard. Granted, I don't even know if there's much in there to think about. They take energy from cuts in space-time and they stuff it into jars, and they're like, yeah, this is fine. This makes sense.
Esoteric.
Yeah, whatever. It works. I don't care. What I do care about, though, is Renji getting the hots. for the hot man. You see what I did there? I didn't do that
Was
intentionally.
a great interaction. I loved it. He's like, "Wow, you complimented my eyebrows. You're actually really sweet."
You're such a sweet guy. I mean, he's just Mookie in the background. But we only see that for like a brief minute, and then we're on to the main fighters of this episode. We got Gigi, and we got Yumachika and Ikaku. Their interactions I did not expect to like as much as I did. I've always enjoyed Ikaku. Really funny. I like the way he interacts with the characters and the humor that comes out of those interactions for me. He's probably the funniest character in all of Bleach, for me personally. I love how they're just super smart, being like, we know she's trying to egg us on to actually cut her. Yumachika immediately 3,000 IQs her, and it's just like, well, probably because if we get, like, I don't know, her blood on her, something bad will happen. And she's like, what? No, absolutely not. And then Yumachika goes even further, and I wasn't expecting this. He's like, all right, I'll do you one better. You're a boy. And Gigi is like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And I was like, whoa, wait, what? What's going on here?
Yeah, Joe. Gigi is a very interesting character. Considered one of the most fucked up characters.
Really?
Bleach.
I couldn't tell.
And there's definitely hints at it later on in the episode with some of the wording with Bambi and kind of the power dynamics.
Oh, I want to let's get into that right now, because that is it's so
oh boy,
fucked up and horrifying.
It's so fucked up.
I hate it. I hate it so much. Her ability, as we know it, Gigi gets her blood on you, immediately you're a zombie. However, for it to work on Quincy's, you have to already be dead. So you think back to the episode when Bambi gets got by Doggy Boy, and you realize now why Bambi was so fucking horrified. It wasn't because she was going to, I mean, it's mostly because she's going to become a zombie, but it's also because Gigi has to physically kill her first for her ability to work on her. So she strangles the life out of Bambi, and then she turns her into her zombie to do her bidding, and she treats her like, oh, it's awful. It's so bad. She just smacks her around like a rag doll. Bambi's begging for something. I don't know what it is, but Bambi keeps begging for her reward, and Gigi's like, you'll get your reward when you fix this damn door. That's a Spider-Man 3 reference. That doesn't matter here. But she's holding out on her because she's like, you got to do my shit first. I don't know what the reward is, and it's making me really scared because it could also be something insanely fucked up. But just the entire interaction, Gigi is like, you haven't played Doki Doki, right?
I have not.
Okay, there's a character in Doki Doki who reminds me a lot of Gigi, because they're like really chill and kind of quiet. And then the more you get to know them, the more fucked up they are. They also have something with blood in that game, and it's not good. It starts off a little hot, but then it gets to be like, okay, we've just, like, you drove up to the edge, and then you hit the gas, and you're like, we're full sending it, baby. We're off the cliff.
Yeah, Gigi is, like I said, the most fucked up character probably in Bleach. And you get a little bit of it this episode, and we'll get a lot more next episode. But I knew about that little twist that Yumachika says, and you'll learn more about it. But yeah, Gigi gives me the heebie-jeebies.
The heebie-jeebies is a good way to put it. I even thought Gigi was just reacting that way to what Yumachika said because she was just insulted. I don't know, like, if that was like a little character quirk thing. But then we get at the end, and this is skipping past a couple of things that happen. There's a certain other undead character that comes. I don't know why I'm bearing the lead. It's an Arankar. There are Arankars in this. And Arankar confronts her about it, and he's just like, ooh, we are very similar. And again, Gigi gets, like, very irate. And I'm like, okay, so there's obviously something here. But yeah, so going back then to the Arankar in the room, there are Arankars now, because Mayori shows up, and he shows up with 2 aces up his sleeve. Number 1, he's got high-tech Pokeballs. I don't know what it is about this arc. They got a lot of different Pokeballs type shit going on in here. Number 2, Gigi's like, hey, I've got an army. And I love the way Mayori responds to her. He's just like, oh no, look at all of these zombies you have. All of these people that were once Soul Reapers, a part of our squads. I am too loving a person to kill them all. But these guys aren't. And then he shows off the 4 Arankar that he's brought back from the dead. He got them from some vault. Again, I didn't write down the name. Stupid me. But he mentioned, like, I went to a vault and I got these guys. I did some experiments, and now they're back here, and they're gonna fight all these Soul Reapers. So have fun.
Gotta say, 2 favorite parts of this episode. 1, Ichigo, Orihime, and Chad. That whole interaction at the beginning, love it. 2nd, my man Mayuri is awesome. I liked him. This episode really was like, damn, he's one of my favorites. He's a cool motherfucker.
Yeah, he is a character that I often don't think about whenever I think about Bleach, but every time that I see him, I'm always like, oh yeah, what are you up to? What are you doing? Because he's always just being a pompous asshat and also the smartest person in the room.
Yeah, and I like how Urahara later on gives him some kudos, and he's like, yeah, you know, that Mayuri guy, he's pretty good. I mean, second to me, obviously.
Yeah. Again, the entire episode is just primarily focused on getting our main trio into the cannon and shooting them back up into the sky to the Soul Palace, and then the fight between Gigi, Ikaku, Yumachika, Mayuri, and a bunch of the other Arankars that have now appeared there. But then it does end off with another little twist. Very, very, very small. Going to be probably inconsequential going forward in the show. But Gigi has turned Toshiro into a zombie.
Loved this. Had been waiting for this moment. This is one part I did know. And I wasn't sure kind of like how it gets introduced. But I like this being the cliffhanger. And I like how Mayuri's like, that might complicate things.
Yeah, might pose a problem. I also like his little outfit change. Did she dress him in the Quincy outfit, or did he want to put that on after he was... I don't know. I don't think it matters. It's just kind of cool.
When you learn a little bit more about Gigi, or Giselle is also the full name, I believe you find out that she was the one that put him in the clothes.
Yeah, that is somehow more disturbing to me.
Yeah, it's not good, Joe.
Dressing her little dolls. All right, and we put your one arm in here and your other arm in here. God, I hate it. Gigi has come out of the woodworks and just is now one of the most uncomfortable characters I've ever seen in anime. I don't like her at all.
Agreed. Yeah. But this episode, I know I might have sounded a little negative at the beginning. Not that I disliked it. I enjoyed it. I love watching Bleach. I love watching this every week. I think just overall in this core, this was probably just one of the weaker ones. It's still good. And I agree with you. I want to kind of get to our main storyline. I like these little side fights, but I want like the last, 2 to 3 episodes maybe, just like dedicated to Soul Palace. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm on for the ride either way. I'm gonna be happy either way. Just want to see my boy Ichigo in action.
Yeah, like we said, it's still good. I've liked every episode in this core, but it's starting to feel super formulaic and repetitive. And you get those like little tidbits in each episode, kind of focusing on either Uryu or Yuha or a couple of other main characters that we've been following for a long time. And it is cool. I like those little things. And this, like watching this all together in like a more binge format might alleviate some of these problems, because you'll just be able to go from episode to episode and be able to see the connecting through line, because like it's all sprinkled in there. But it does start to feel a little bit tiring when you're just kind of like, okay, here's another fight with a different character. Here's another fight with different characters and another fight with different characters. I kind of appreciate, we said this with the Jujutsu Kaisen latest 2 episodes, how we appreciate a fight going from one episode to another, because then it feels like it's a little bit more, the stakes might be a little bit stronger, the fight might be a little bit more dire. You can kind of do more stuff when it's not just introduced and dealt with in the same episode. So here's hoping they can kind of do that with this part 2 to this episode, but it's one of those problems that's here for us now because we have to wait the week between each episode to air, and it might be alleviated once it's all done. So who knows? But I do want to see this tighten up and really focus in on a couple of core characters and just do a lot of development with those. So other than that, though, hopefully you guys have been enjoying 1,000 Year Blood War just as much as we are. Part 2, The Separation, it's coming to its end. We're almost there. We have, I believe, 23 and 24 to go, and then the final episode is going to be another hour-long special, which is just going to be the last 2 episodes airing simultaneously, and then that's going to be the end of Core 2. So we're near the halfway point. I didn't think we would get here so fast. It's really flying by, man. This pacing is crazy. But with all that being said, everyone, we'll love you, we'll leave you, and goodbye.